Okay, so you have probably had or been part of conversations that are happening at the moment around the fast payment system that is meant to be introduced by the central bank. And I wanted to do this video to do a bit of a breakdown to help you understand what a fast payment system is and how different that is with what currently is there and the implication of that for different players in the ecosystem. So to do that, I'd want to give a bit of a context as to how payments usually happen. So if you are paying for a service and it's in cash, for example, you can be able to either pay by cash or pay by a digital platform. When you pay by a digital platform, that payment usually moves from you to the seller through something called a rail, a payment rail. So payment rails are of different variety. If you are paying by bank, usually the rail is the one owned by the bank. So you can be doing a PesaLink payment transfer, and more on that later. If you are doing a payment through M-Pesa, so the rail that you use is a mobile money rail, so use their communication system and payment rail to be able to transfer. So this is a Clipper M-Pesa, and some of those things are under the mobile money system rail. If you are doing it through a fintech, maybe the PesaPals, the PesaPals, the DPO pays, all of those kinds. So you'll be relying on their system, their rail, but also them they're relying on other rails to be able to access the infrastructure, depending on how the payment is being done. If it's being done from bank to a supplier or a seller or by other platforms, so it's reliant on them, or rather they rely on them in one form or the other. So what the FPS does in essence, it makes it possible for all players to have access to a unified and impartial system. So it means this impartial system, you can be able to send a transfer from M-Pesa to a bank, or from a bank to M-Pesa, or from a fintech. If you're using the POP directly, you do from a fintech to your bank, or from a bank to your fintech, or from your fintech to another fintech, without necessarily having to let me use the term, borrow another person's rails. So what that in essence means, it makes it easier for different players. So it makes it easier for different players to access this open access, because now the FPS is manned by the central bank and it's open access, as opposed to if you have to integrate with PesaLink, which is manned by the Kenya Bankers Association. It tends to have a bias towards banks and has a bit of limitations in terms of its how it interplays or interconnects with M-Pesa. And the whole concept that even the central bank is trying to build is something called interoperability. So it's a big term, but what it means is payments should be able to move seamlessly from one channel to another in different architectures and different systems. So that's FPS. So the benefits of FPS, particularly inclined to all ecosystem players and especially fintechs, it means you'll have access to, once you're licensed, you have access to this centralized system, and you're able to facilitate payments and transfers from different channels, from mobile money to bank to even cards and all of those things as they roll them out. But you don't have to, quote unquote, borrow the architecture of the bank or rely. So it reduces your dependence on banks and mobile money operators, and able just to rely on the central bank's payment system. So that's the one of the key things that is important with that FPS. And also another benefit that it allows you to just improve on the user experience. So you're able to improve on the user experience, and so it makes the architecture uniform. So what companies will be competing on is on the user experience. So how to improve the user experience, how to make it better. If you're making a payment, how is it more seamless? How is it better? How is it easier? How are collections and disbursements easier for the user? And that's the benefit of PS. So it has cons, and because usually if it's a new system, it may take a bit of time to be rolled out, but the pro of it is that it makes it easier and it makes the process easier and seamless, and improves the overall customer's experience, because people will now be competing on user experience as opposed to the technical infrastructure behind the payments. So this is a short brief on what they are. My name is Meshak Masibo. I am a lawyer, and I do a lot of work around payments and licensing and a lot of that work. So I wanted just to give a bit of context to that.